Vande Mataram, dear students. I, Vishal Mishra, once again welcomes you all in our school's YouTube channel. In previous video, we have studied about part 1 of the chapter Expert Detectives, and today I am going to explain part 2 of this chapter. In first part of this chapter, we studied about how Maya and her brother Seven were thinking about Mr. Nath, that whether he is crook or not. So let's read part 2. I wrote in large block letters, catching a crook, expert detectives Nisad and Maya Pandit by appointment to the whole world. Then I began writing. About half an hour later, I turned it towards Seven, who was lying on his tummy, chin cupped in his palms, reading comics. Want to hear what I have written? I asked. Means in her study room, Maya is studying, and in her notebook, she is writing in block letters, catching a crook, and she is seeing that her brother is lying on the bed and reading a comics. And then Maya is asking to her brother, do you want to hear what I have written? Means when Maya asked to her brother that if he want to know anything that she had written, Samuel looked up as he is saying yes, he wants to know. I have listed all the facts we know about Mr. Nath which might help us to trap him. I said, want to hear? Means Maya is telling to her brother that she has listed all the facts about Mr. Nath, whatever she knows, and those facts will be helpful, essential to trap Mr. Nath. Seven nodded for yes, and Maya started to tell her brother fact number 1. I read, his name is Mr. Nath. We must discover his first name. Do you think that is his real name? Maya Nisad asked. Fact number 1 means Maya is telling to her brother that number 1 fact is there, that his name is Mr. Nath, but I am not sure that it would be his first name. So first of all, we should find out his first name. And now Nisad is asking, do you think that is his real name, Maya? Probably not, I said. Most crooks have an alias. I added a big question mark after Nath. Means Radha is suspicious about Mr. Nath's real name. It is because she is saying to her brother that I am not sure and completely it could not be, it is not his real name. Now Radha is telling fact number 2 to her brother. Fact number 2, I read on the tenants at Shankar house say he is mad, strange and unfriendly. Means when she met to that tenants who lives in Shankar house, he say that he is mad, strange and unfriendly. And now she is telling about fact number 3. He doesn't talk to anyone and is mannerless. But he did talk to us, Maya, and Mama says he is very polite. Nisad interrupted. And in fact number 3, Maya is telling about Mr. Nath that he is mannerless because he doesn't talk to anyone. And being unsatisfied on this fact, Nisad interrupted to Maya and said, but he did talk to us, Maya, and as Mama says he is very polite. But he did talk to us, Maya, and Mama says he is very polite, Nisad interrupted. He only talked to us because he had to, I said, and since he was under Mama's medical treatment, he had to be polite. Now Maya is telling that if Mr. Nath is polite, then it's not matter of surprise because he is under Mama's treatment, so he has to be polite with us. Fact number 4. Now Maya is telling about fact number 4. He doesn't receive any letters. 7 nodded. Number 5. He's been living in room 10 of Shankar house for more than a year. I continued. Number 6. He doesn't work and sits in his room all day. Number 7. The kids in Shankar house and even some of the grown-ups are scared of him. These were facts about Mr. Nath that Maya has noted in her notebook and she is telling to her brother. As per fact number 4, he doesn't receive any letter means he has no relatives. That is also a point of suspect. And as per fact number 5, he has been living in room 10 of Shankar house for more than a year. Means why is he not changing that room? Fact number 6, he doesn't work and sits in his room all day. That is also a point of being suspicious because why is he not going on work? Why is he has not any job? Fact number 7, the kids in Shankar house and even some of the grown-ups are scared of him. Why they are scared of him? It is also a fact of suspicious. Number 8, he has no visitors except for a spectacles fair fat man who visits him on Sunday for lunch. Beside that fat man, there is no one who comes to meet him. Means why he has no any friend, why he has no any relatives. Fact number 9, food and tea are taken to his room by Ramesh from the restaurants downstairs. Why food and tea are taken to his room by Ramesh? If he can walk, if he can go outside, then why he is not going to restaurant by himself? It is also a point of being suspicious. He doesn't care what he eats, pays his bill immediately and tips well. That ends my list. Means if he is poor, then how he is paying bill and tips to that Mr. Ramesh? And now Maya says that these were some facts about Mr. Nath, those she has noted in her notebook. Have I forgotten anything, 7? Nisat had obviously not been paying too much attention to my list of facts. All he could say was, poor man, Maya, he must be so lonely if he doesn't have any friends. Nisat is still believing on Mr. Nath that he is not crook, and it is because he was not listening carefully, paying attention on Maya's list that Maya was telling to him. How can a crook have friends, idiot? I almost shouted. Now Maya shouted angrily at her brother that how can a crook have friends if he is crook? Then who wants to be his friend? Nisad is blindly trusting on Mr. Nath, so he is saying, at least he has one friend, the one who meets him on Sundays. A brilliant thought occurred to me just then. That man must be Mr. Nath's accomplice in crime. I said maybe he keeps all the loot and he comes now and then to give part of it to his partner, Mr. Nath, for expenses. That's it, I'm sure I'm right. When Nisad told his sister about Mr. Nath's friend, Maya became more suspected at Mr. Nath and she thought that person will be his companion in his crime, so he will be coming to give Mr. Nath's share for expenses, and she was this time very sure that her doubt is right and correct. As Nisad was trustful at Mr. Nath, so he was not ready to accept anything that his sister was telling to him. If you insist on calling him a criminal, I don't think I want to discuss anything with him, Maya, said Nisad angrily. He can't be such a bad man if he gives Ramesh such generous tips. Means Nisad is giving example to his sister that if Mr. Nath is giving tips to Mr. Ramesh who brings lunch for him, so how can he be so crook? Interrupting Nisad, Maya said Ramesh probably knows something about his past, so Mr. Nath must be bribing him to keep quiet. Means Mr. Nath wants to keep his mouth shut, so he is giving tips to Ramesh. Nisad glared at me with his arms tightly crossed across his chest. I was beginning to get fed up with him. Now Nisad was so angry, so he was glaring at his sister Maya. How can we how can we make any progress with our investigation if you take that attitude, Seven? I asked. Means if you will be thinking positively on about Mr. Nath, so how can we will able to investigate this case? I will cooperate only if you give up this idea about him being an escaped crook, said Seven. You really make me angry. I almost hit him. I make you angry, you stupid what? I shouted. You make me mad. When Seven said that he will only cooperate with Maya if she will say that he is escaped crook. Then Maya became angry and she hit him. What is the point of all these inquiries if he is not a crook? If you think he is nobody, what's the idea of bothering about him? Please tell me. Being angry at Seven, Maya just came to him that what's mean of this point, whatever we collected, whatever we noted in our notebooks about him, if you think that he is not a crook. Nisad looked thoughtful. I'd like to find out why he's so thin and why he is so lonely. I want to know why he doesn't have any friends and lives alone. Now Nisad said that we have to find out why he is so thin, why he is so lonely, and if we will able to find out those things, then only we will able to know about his real status, that he is crook or not. Try to understand. Seven, I told him, if he is lived in Shankar house for a year and hasn't made a single friend, there's something wrong. Now Maya again making understand to Seven that Shankar in Shankar house he is living for many years, and if he is living for many years, then why he hasn't a friend? He is obviously scared that someone will recognize him and give him up to the cops. He is not making friend. Maya is explaining that if he is not making friend means he is just scared. He is scared that if someone will recognize him and will give him to the police. Maybe no one tried to make friends with him, Nisad protested. Now again Nisad protested about Mr. Nath that it also may be possible that no one want to be his friend. Why should anyone bother? You have seen what a nasty bear he is, I said. Means if he is so crook, so why anyone will like to be his friend? Friends with a crook? Ha, you are crazy, Seven. I said the cops will take you to jail with him. Do you want to that happen, you idiot? I means Maya is warning to his brother Seven that if you will take his side, cop means the policeman will also take you jail. Okay? Nisad merely glared at me and quietly walked out the room. My theories seemed to have made no impression on him at all. Means Nisad is not being interested on Maya's fact, and it is because merely glaring at Maya, she quietly walked out of the room. So students, it was the explanation of this chapter. If you have any query regarding this chapter, then please ask.